Start
Good
off with,
afternoon.
with Balikatan. You have four ships from three countries sailing off into the horizon within our EEZ, of course. But China, of course, at the same time also laying claim to that EEZ as part of its territorial waters. Are we courting, are we poking the dragon,
Oh, well, of course,
Poking the bear.
the bear?
we are not poking the bear or the dragon.
Poking the bear.
We are not rocking the boat. And of course, no, trying to be serious about this is part of the collective deterrence that we are trying to show to China. Well, hindi rin eh. Not because of the China problem, but it's about empowering our capability.
Mhm.
Remember that the first thing that we have to think about is this is for the Philippines. Imagine a government launching the comprehensive archipelagic defense that is focused on external defense, and then you will not do a Balikatan exercises that is focused on external security. So I think this is just logical for the Philippine government to do a joint sail or joint air patrol because you are exercising a strategy right now.
Actually,
Okay.
sir. Yeah, good, Bo.
Okay, Professor Cabalza, while we are doing naval exercises on our EEZ slash Chinese territorial waters, at least that's their claim, U.S. State Secretary Antony Blinken and Chinese Premier or President Xi Jinping are talking in Beijing.
Yeah.
What can you say about the coincidence or the
Okay.
timing of these talks?
I think it's not a coincidence, but it was intended to pacify the tension.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the strategic ambiguity of the past administration. While we were pivoting to China, our foreign affairs secretary and the secretary of national defense are talking to Washington. I think they copied that strategy to us. No? So while they are doing a Balikatan exercises with us, proclaiming an ironclad commitment with Manila, Secretary Blinken is talking also with Beijing. So I think that kind of strategic ambiguity
Okay.
was originally done by the Philippines in the
Okay.
previous administration.
Yeah, in the previous administration. Professor Cabalza, how sure can we be that we've not been reduced? The Philippines has not been reduced to a tool of American foreign policy. Baka mamaya sila nagkakausap, magkasundo, baka laglag ang Pilipinas sa lagay
Very
nito.
good, question and observation. When you do a relationship and partnership, it all boils down to mutual trust and confidence. Since it is a relationship, definitely, maniniwala ka sa sinasabi nila because we are building a relationship. Remember, they said last time, this is not just an ironclad relationship, but we are a family. So siguro kung kapamilya tayo, hindi naman ilalaglag ng US tayo. Ang kanilang intention siguro is less tension and to perhaps clear some of the possible scenario that there will be war in the offing. So yun siguro yung gusto nila.
Okay, hindi tayo lalaglagin ng Amerika pero Professor Cabalza, what if China damdamin naman ng China etong mga pangyayaring ito. You know, they could get along, you know. I mean, we saw President Biden and President Xi Jinping meeting in San Francisco, I understand, for the APEC meeting, and then ngayon nag-uusap naman sila ulit, State Secretary Antony Blinken and Xi Jinping. So, but what if this does some damage to Philippine-Chinese relations?
Ang ganda ng tanong, no? I think that's the magic of international relations. No? Because sometimes you don't know what they're talking, and all of a sudden, we as spectators and observers, iba yung nakikita natin. No, but you're right, sir. No, pwedeng iba yung usapan nila, but definitely their own interest would be their own relationship because remember these are two powerful countries,
Right.
the two largest economies in the world, and they have and the Philippines is a middle power. So I think the Philippines will not be part of that equation.
Okay.
Professor, you were talking about collective deterrence. Sa tingin nyo, itong expanded Balikatan will provide that deterrence? Madedeter kaya ang China or lalong magiging mapoprovoke to respond na mas aggressive pa in the West Philippine Sea?
Yeah, ang ganda ng tanong, no? For me, that collective deterrence is a form of experimentation. Remember, this is the first time that we have seen this kind of phenomenon in the Philippines, no? Remember, in the MDT, hindi naman binaksit doon na magkakaroon ng joint patrol or joint air. Kasi MDT is a land-based military pact. And at the same time, during this iteration of the Balikatan exercises, we have seen 14 nations observing us. And then for the first time, we have seen French forces jointly sailing with us. And then by next, we are recruiting Japan to join us in the Balikatan exercises. So, then, Philippines na yun. No? It's a different Philippines that we are seeing right now. Maybe because they believe in us, they believe in our advocacy for rules-based norms, and because of our champion for international law because of the Hague ruling.
Professor, babalikan ko lang si Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi na medyo matapang, parati namang matapang ang salita ng Beijing. But in his meeting with Blinken, ang sabi niya, China's legitimate development rights have been unreasonably suppressed and our core interests are facing challenges. Kasama dyan actually yung ibang bansa. It's a message to other countries. What do you think? Kasi kapag ganyan, remember, meron din silang economic claims over the South China Sea. Ano kaya magiging reaction dyan ng ibang mga, lalo na yung 14 observer countries na yan?
Tama. It's also, we have to look into consideration also yung actuations nitong mga vocal countries na ito, no, why they are supporting us. At the same time, they are risking or their economic chances or wins. No? Pwede kasi, because of course, no, they're trying to the maritime rules-based norms. Not because they wanted China to in the competition, but to at least remind China na ito ang batas na sumunod ka. That's the reason why they're trying to engage with us rules-based norms. Like, there are economic gains natin. Last year, we cut off our infrastructure projects with China. Pero nandito pa rin tayo, buhay pa rin tayo, tuloy-tuloy pa rin yung, meron na tayong Luzon Economic Corridor. No? So in other words, when the door closed, another route will open for us. So that's what US is also trying to see. That while they're trying to challenge China because of the security disorder that they are bringing to the region, at natin yung potential sa ekonomiya, sa bumo, baka naman katotohanan si China, baka naman siya kahit na sa pagsunod sa mga batas sa mundo.
Sir, let me play the devil's advocate naman. Aren't we putting so much trust in the United States backing us up on this issue with the West Philippine Sea? I mean, it's not the first time that the country has been left holding the bag by a superpower. We've seen that in Afghanistan, we've seen it in Vietnam, and so on down the line. And we've seen it in 2012 with Scarborough Shoal. In the end, foreign policy is, of course, not based. It's not based on foreign interest, but on national interest. And if the U.S. feels it's in its own national interest to back off from China, we might end up, with Scarborough Shoal Part 2.
Right. Alam niyo po yung question niyo, that's a question of what cannot. So remember, MD3 is 50 years. Huwag natin sabihin na ang Pilipinas, until 100 years old, gagamitin pa rin niya yung MDT na yan. I think there will be a turning point where the Philippines should really get out from that alliance. Because we are talking about an independent foreign policy, which we have seen in our aspect. They don't have alliance with the other major powers. But they're very strong. Their economy is very promising. No? I think the lesson here that we can gain is, while we are exposing on that alliance and the military pact that we have with the Americans and soon to be with other like-minded nations, we have to stand on our own later on. One day in the future, we want the next generation of leaders in the country, the next generation of military leaders, economic leaders in our country will have to deal with that independent foreign policy as it is. Because we really have to get out from that alliance.
Later on, Professor Cabalza, is it difficult now? I mean, I know we have this MDT, this 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty, but at the same time, our Constitution mandates an independent foreign policy. So, what restricts us?
The indicator, very good question there. The indicator is, I think, when the Philippines think that we can afford to stand on our own, and the answer is economic.
Economic.
Because of course that would
Professor,
emanate from if you, yes, ma.
Professor, it's a globalized environment. How realistic is an independent foreign policy? Kasi lahat naman ngayon merong alliances, even the US.
Okay, ganda ng katanungan. Last night I had some lunch and dinner with with European diplomats. No, those were also their questions.
Yes.
Pinag-usapan din namin, and we were like, and I was like trying to them, imagine India and Indonesia doing non-alignment. And they have been exercising independent foreign policy in their own little ways. And that is a good model that we can create on our own. Not now, because of course economically, militarily, we cannot afford yet to do that. But at certain point in our future, we have to really craft a policy na kung saan yung independent foreign policy na sinasabi natin, totoong-totoo. Kasi ang independent foreign policy ay yung kaya nating tumayo at manindigan sa sarili nating paa.
Okay.
At sasabihin natin na we can do it on our own.
Professor Cabalza,
So
last question.
it's more like credible self-defense, no? Mas accurate na sabihin yon. If we're going to talk about security, it's credible self-defense.
Okay.
I agree with you, ma'am. No?
Well, Professor, I don't think we can. I don't think any ASEAN countries or countries with conflicting claims with China will ever have parity with China. Not even Vietnam. No. So why can't the Philippines just adopt a policy that is similar to Vietnam, to Malaysia, to Indonesia, and other countries with competing claims too?
That was also a good question, no? It was raised also by European diplomats. Ang sagot ko doon po, because we were resistant. We are fighting for, we resist them. Other countries are quiet about it. They kept mum about this aggression of China. while building their own outpost. But we were left with very few options. One is, of course, when we moved the Hague ruling, one of the compromises is to at least comply with the status quo. If you try to compare our outposts in the West Philippine Sea to other claimant countries, lamang na lamang sila. Because we were very obedient not to develop fully our maritime features for the sake of peace and order in that region.
Okay, Professor
And
Cabalza.
also because we are an advocate of that, because of the Hague ruling.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Cabalza. That was Chester Cabalza, our security analyst. Okay.
Thank you, Professor.
Thanks, sir.
Salamat po. Maraming salamat po.